middle here, that's where the town of Old Jefferson is. We're standing right over here right now on this side. We're on this side, and we're going to walk right in there.
Used to be a Church of Christ.
And this, all this property right here, Weekly and Bedford, from Bedford County, they went through and they bought up as much land as they could that looked like this on a map. And so this would be okay. Here's the town of Jefferson, like this. This is north. Here's the town of Jefferson. They bought up all this land along the river, and these are the names of all the people who owned that property. And many of them got it through land grants. And I'll just say a word about land grants. North Carolina and the states along the East Coast, they were very poor. So after the Civil War, after the war, they didn't have much money to pay the soldiers. So they had this. I've got a big land grant book at home that shows that this whole area, especially across Tennessee going this way. And if you were in the service for 1 year, you could get 640 acres. Or if you were two, you'd double it, and so on and so on and so on. So all these people, Weekly and Bedford, they got this idea that we can buy this area up here, and we can put lots. And this is what happened. This is Old Jefferson right in here, and all these things are building lots. And they bought all this land from all these different people who owned these land grants. And they sold each of these lots for $29 an acre. So they had a big plan there. So and I've got a lot of the names of people who bought these. Not everybody. And then the town itself was like this. And so this going down this way would be going north, and this would be the area that was actually dedicated to building flatboats and shipping various kinds of products downstream. But I think this is, I'm not sure who mailed me this one, but when they got it, I think it was in Texas. It was actually, someone wrote on here like this, and so they didn't know where this came from, but somehow I got my hands on this, so it really should be like this, and this is north at the top. The big house over there in the park. Now this was the house that I mentioned. Of course, it was one of the ones that was torn down. And this little house right here is where the Wright family lived. Now going through, as we go through on the path on that little hill, see, you'd had water on this side, and when the floods would come, it would actually surround Jefferson like this. It would go all the way around like this. And so the Wright family, Don was telling me one day that they were, the water was rising, and they lived in that house, and water was coming up, and it said he had his baby shoes. He remembered his little shoes on, and his mother and father were carrying him across, and they were wading across the water. They would flow this way, coming. See, West Fork is over there, so it was just totally surrounded. And he said as he was walking down through there, his shoe fell off, and it floated. So he remembered his shoe floating. But that's the house. Now this particular house, there's an Espy house. There's the Espy brothers here. So this was called an Espy house, and so and on the other side, over there where Miss Mary King lived, over toward Gillsville, that big two-story house back down there, that was also an Espy house. Now that one, I've got a small picture of it, of the Espy house, but it looks like this. Here it is. It was built. This particular house was built in the late 1700s, and it was one of the most beautiful houses in this area at the time. And so various families lived there. That was it too was built by a fellow named Espy.
That's real close to where the beginning of the Greenway is.
Huh?
Right there. Hills.
Yeah.
Right there where the Greenway, you get on the Greenway.
Yeah.
Right there. And there's a kiosk kind of a thing there that tells about Espy.
Oh yeah.
And the recording's by Patty King O'Connor. It's certainly her book where she passed on.
Yeah.
She was related to Espy.
Yeah.
Kings
That's right. Okay. Let me just show you a couple of pictures. These two pictures is what you may have looked like 20 years ago. This is 20 years ago pictures. These pictures like this, and we were walking back through here, and this one like this. We were chugging along, and we were walking. We're going to walk this same trail today. It's not as green and pretty as this is, but this is our trip that we took 20 years ago. A lot of people in there that in that picture that I know. Okay, let's set on. If you'll follow me, I will lead you through the path, and we've got to go over that low spot on the other side. We're not going to take this round back here, but we're going to stay pretty much where the. I do need to mention one other thing about the Trail of Tears. They did a few years ago. They put up the Trail of Tears. Back in 1938, they were gathering the Indian tribes together around the eastern part of the United of Tennessee and Georgia and Alabama, and they had them camped there for weeks and weeks, and you can imagine how many people were sick and died. But they set out here, and they were making the trail to Oklahoma. Between Murfreesboro and Nashville, ultimately there were 10 toll gates. So the Indian tribes that were taken, they were told there were travelers coming back the other way, and as they were coming this way from the east, they would meet. They said, if you turn off, if you're coming like you're coming out of Murfreesboro, and you get down to the Compton Road area, go through there, and if you go that way, and actually come through Jefferson, there were about 4,000 Indians came right through here and made this trail and went through old Jefferson area, and then went on down to the road leading into the highway going to Nashville. There's a church there, and so that's where the road. So, but going this way, they didn't have to pay the toll coming this way, and so they were about 4,000. One of the most interesting things that I saw just a few years ago when they were first started building, making the roads for Nissan in Smyrna, as you're going down the old National Highway and you cross Stewart's Creek. As they were building that road that leads from the old National Highway up to Lee Victory Parkway and Nissan Boulevard, they hit a grave site. There was a grave site there, and so I've got a picture of that. I think I'll lend it to someone to get it back. What they found with these graves that were buried there, and the graves were people from the Trail of Tears who had died. And so they were in a circle. They dug the graves like this, and one guy is holding his dog, and the dog and the man is there, and they call the University of Tennessee, and it's in that area, just as you're going down the old, before you get to the Stewart's Creek, on the left, on the immediate left right there. That's when they made that discovery, and they shut everything down until all those graves were.